What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Tricky Jim. Going to be playing a game on PTCGO today, and I'm excited for the World Championships. By this time, I'm at the World Championships right now. I am vlogging the World Championships. Stoked about that, so check out that when I get home next week. I'm also going to be Super Ginger Kid is who I'm playing against right now. That is pretty funny screen name there. Pretty cool. Looks like they might be playing some sort of Gardevoir deck, maybe Zoroark, Gardevoir, something like that. I'm also going to be posting updates to the World Championships on my lens through Patreon, so that's something I'm going to be doing as well, which is kind of like Snapchat, but through Patreon, so that's pretty cool too. Going to be showing off the different things going on in Nashville throughout the course of the weekend through that, just through my phone, so that's going to be pretty dope as well. And I'm excited to share that experience with you guys today. I am playing Buzzrock. I think Buzzrock still stays a very good deck. Next format, unfortunately, we do lose Strong Energy and Max Elixir, but that is no concern of mine. The deck still remains very good. Unfortunately, this is not a super good hand, though. Not a lot going on here, and this unfortunately does happen quite a bit. Now, we want to try to stop my opponent from doing what they want to do, so we're going to bring up that Ranguru here. It looks like we are playing against just a straightforward, and then I will just pass. Yeah, we're playing against a straightforward Gardevoir deck. This should be a fine matchup for me, but yeah, with a start like this, you never really know. This deck does get to play just a bunch of the Psychic Ralts, some Mysterious Treasure, Psychic Curlia. This is all pretty good for Gardevoir. I think the Gardevoir is another deck that just stays super good next format and should be great. My opponent starts off with a Cynthia as well. I know that they're not playing a next format list because they do have the Psychic Ralts. Sometimes on PTCGO you will get an opponent. They ripped the Floatstone off of that. That's wild. I feel like a lot of Gardevoir lists are not playing heavy counts of Floatstone either. You know, if my opponent goes for the Gardevoirs here, that they've got Rare Candy in hand, and things are going to start looking pretty rough for me here pretty soon. Now, this is unusual for this Buzzrock list that I have created here. This Buzzrock list that I got here, very consistent. I have not had any issues with, consistency or anything like that. I feel like this is like, not great to surprise attack here, but we're just going to go for it. Oh, take that, Vulpix. Get out of here. So if they don't get, I guess they could knock me out with like Lele DCE, so that probably wasn't a great play. Obviously they have Lele in their hand, so if they just have DCE, that's game. But honestly, I was drawing dead anyway, so I don't really care. I was kind of just hoping that maybe they wouldn't have it. Oh, they've got a Guardy as well. This is brutal. This is, all they need is a Fairy Energy. I don't really, and I know that they have a Lele, so you know what? We're just going to go ahead and scoop this one up. They got the DC. They could have just knocked me out with the Lele in their hand, but yeah, no. We're going to try again. This Buzzrock list that I'm playing here has 10 supporters in it, which is a lot more than most lists these days. It also has a Lele in it, the Ultra Balls, obviously, and an Octillery line. So it has a lot of consistency cards. I feel like it's just a very strong, very well-rounded list. I think that game that you saw there was just a little bit of an anomaly, and it's just going to happen with any deck that you play, unfortunately, sometimes. But I did just get done testing a lot and felt pretty confident in Buzzwole being a top contender for the World Championships. I think Buzzwole, Rayquaza, obviously Zoroark, Garbodor, Zoroark, Control are going to be your top picks. I think that there are a number of people that are considering Gardevoir decks as well. This is the second Gardevoir deck I've played against. Goodness, in just in 2 rounds here, so that's pretty crazy. See if we can do a little bit better this time, and that was just disastrous. We top decked in to just a ton of stuff there, so we do not want to really just sycamore that hand. So maybe I should not have accepted those mulligans, but this is fine. We're gonna get a Rockruff here. This deck is going to be pretty susceptible to a Lycanroc, and then I think Max Elixir is like not a super great play right now, so I think I'm not gonna attach to my active either. I'm just gonna attach Strong to my bench, and then we are just gonna pass. There's no real reason to play that Sycamore. I don't need to play it. I'm also not playing Super Rod in this list right here. I'm playing 10 Fighting instead. I really just don't like Super Rod as a card. I don't think it's all that great. I think that it's just slow. For a deck like Buzzrock that just wants to be snappy and speedy, I don't really think that it's necessary. Think that I like Rescue Stretcher a lot better personally. Just that's how I've always liked playing the deck. Opponent's going to go for the Guzma turn 1, but that's just to get their Vulpix in the active position. Then they are going to Beacon. So for me personally, I can do a couple of things here. I know that most Gardevoir lists are just not playing a lot. Okay, they're not playing a lot of, not playing a lot. I know they went for the Gardevoir, so I know that they're projecting that they have Rare Candy. So I think I could go for just knockout on the Ralts with Zygarde here. Actually, Zygarde, crazy inclusion in the deck, but I like him. If I hit this Max Elixir, we're in business. We do not. Okay, so that makes things a little bit more interesting. I think at this point, I could go for like Dangerous Rogue the Ralts. We do not want to do that. So I think that I just go for Floatstone here, and then we probably put, we're doing what, 30, 20, what, 40. I guess if I get Diancie, I could do 60 to that Ralts, but I would have to get a Lycanroc. Yeah, we'll go in with the Zygarde. I don't really care. That's fine. Okay, and we're just going to slap both these down, and then we're just going to Sycamore. And it's possible that I get like Max Elixir Lycanroc. We did not get all that, but I do have Lycanroc, so I can bring somebody else out to hit with my Zygarde. I mean, Zygarde's probably not going down next turn, so we're probably fine. I do have Cynthia available. I like Zygarde in this deck. It's just something that's not weak to Psychic and allows you to, like, you can go Zygarde Lycanroc, which is like just a pretty good, well-rounded little strategy there. We're doing 20-40. That's just unfortunate. Unfortunate numbers there. Feel like I can just bring something up, though. That's probably fine. Yeah, let's just Lycanroc, and we're going to bring up the Ralts. Then they can just start swinging. We'll bring up the Remoraid. And then let's just retreat and just start hitting with Zygarde. That's fine. And then ultimately, like, I don't really mind. I mean, they're going to get the Guardy here. That's fine. And I could have hit into the Ralts to soften that thing up. But I know that I'm going to get to Dangerous Rogue at a Guardy. Like, I'm not worried about hitting those numbers. Like, I'm definitely going to get that. In fact, if they don't get that Guardy into the active position, I can just Brooklet Hill for a Diancie and then just Dangerous Rogue it now. If they put, you know, another Pokemon in play, then I don't even need the Diancie. I can just go and knock out the Gardevoir as is. So you can see, and they put down another Pokemon. So I have knockout on that Gardevoir. If that Gardevoir does not make it into the active position, I can Guzma my Lycanroc out and take it out, which is very good for me. Opponent's going to go for Cynthia. Let's hope they don't get... Well, I just have it. So, yeah, there shouldn't be anything. Let's hope they can't get that Guardy into the active position. I mean, I can always Dangerous Rogue, maybe the Tapu Lele GX or something like that. You guys can tell from my list, I'm just not very Baby Buzzwole centric here. I've not built the list to be all about Baby Buzzwole. Looks like she or he is going to come in. Oh, and Beacon again. That's actually fantastic for me because I have the Dangerous Rogue on that Guardy, so that is no problem at all. And should my opponent, you know, do anything funky with like Mewtwo, I do have Zygarde here who can help take care of that. So we are going to go get myself, actually, I don't have my Baby Buzz. I do play one Baby Buzz, not in deck. A little light on guys here. We're probably going to go get the... We have Lycanroc in deck as well. Probably want to just get that second Lycanroc or get the Rockruff out. Yeah, because I don't actually... I can get the Diancie out next turn. That's not a problem. And then let's just go and just take out that Guardy while we're here. And we could just put another Buzzwole on the bench too. Not super worried about that. And yeah, let's just Dangerous Rogue here. I don't have my, and like I said, we're playing like 10 supporters. I'm like not even worried about getting my Octillery out. It's not something that we absolutely need. in order to be successful. It's kind of like we'll set it up when we set it up. This deck can be successful without needing that. We've just got enough juice in the deck. I mean, I've seen one Max Elixir. I've got 3 Max Elixirs and 2 B-Strings left in the deck. If this Lycanroc goes down, then I can just Cynthia and try to hit some Max Elixirs, try to hit some B-Strings, things like that, and I should be totally fine. This Zygarde can also come up next turn, Guzma, and take out a Ralts if my opponent beacons this turn, which is totally fine too. And the Zygarde is just going to be a little bit more difficult for my opponent to knock out, considering he could just have energy on him and does not worry about things like Mewtwo. So I do like Zygarde just in this meta because it is just a nice, he's a nice attacker, and he kind of ramps up damage. He's solid. People are always hating on Zygarde, but I don't see it. I think Zygarde is just super solid and definitely has potential as an attacker. He's always been good. He's been in a lot of my lists and has always just been a solid inclusion. My opponent's got Max Potion here on their Octillery. I think that could not, might not be the best way to have used it, but I guess they're trying. They Ultra Ball for the Guardy, their Octillery, they're using Abyssal Hand. They're trying to just get a Guardy out this turn. They desperately want a Gardevoir out this turn. I do have another Guzma, so I could tell what my opponent's sitting on based on what they beacon for. I'm assuming they did not rip a rare candy there. They're going to have to go for Curlia Gardevoir. That's fine. I think that if they had rare candy, they would have gotten themselves something there. So let's just let's beacon. Let's go get ourselves the Diancie there. I have an N in my hand. I want to start attaching. I can just start attaching, honestly. The Lycanroc is doing what with Claw Slash? 130, 150. It is actually knocking out that Tapu Lele perfectly, which is good. Then I go down to 2 prizes, and my opponent probably knocks me out. Probably ends up knocking me out with a with a Guardy. So I don't want to just welcome that. I think that I probably play a little bit more conservatively. I do want to, I want to hit things. I get set up a little bit. I can knock out a Ralts with the Zygarde, which is super good. So I think I probably am just going to put a Fighting Energy here. Guzma, the Ralts. I don't want to just serve my opponent up just a really easy play there. So we are just going to Lance Pulse this Ralts for knockout. Perfect 60 damage. Get another energy down on my Buzzwole and give myself some other options. We got a Sycamore there off the prizes, so that's super good. I don't think, my opponent is not getting a knockout on this Zygarde here with just 1 Guardy. So they're just going to scoop it up. They kind of see the writing on the wall. They see that I was able to keep their board just clear of Guardies the entire time. And that's more or less how that matchup is supposed to go. Unlike that first game that we started where I just had the Rockruff pass. We'll roll one more here since that was a quick one too. And hopefully we don't get paired against another Guardy. That would just give us a little bit of diversity here. It looks like I am playing against a Rayquaza deck, so totally fine with that. I think that at first I thought that Rayquaza just ran over Buzzwole, but the more that I am playing, the more that I'm seeing that it's not that easy. I'm going to start with my Zygarde here. I don't mind that at all. Rockruff on the bench. We're going to load up energy onto this Rockruff quickly and go for an early dangerous rogue. That's kind of our goal here. We actually like that my opponent starts Rayquaza GX because that means that they just have 1 less Stormy Winds ability that they get to use. Rayquaza loves starting just other things. They love starting their Oranguru. They love starting Marshadow. And they go blind. They get nothing off of that first Stormy Winds there. That is exciting. Max Elixir in hand and a whiff on the Max Elixir too. Oh, the agony. And they only had 1 energy in their hand. That is fantastic for me. This Rayquaza deck is just getting off to quite the slow start. So that is really good. I can, just poke this Rayquaza with my Zygarde. I don't really mind that. I'm probably going to start off here with a Sycamore. My opponent's starting off so slow that I don't feel uncomfortable just putting an energy onto the Zygarde here and softening it up, especially if this list plays. I'm not playing any Field Blower in my Buzzwole deck right now. If this Rayquaza deck plays like, Fighting Fury Belt, then I want to have softened them up a little bit. Now, obviously, I'm playing a 2-1 split on Buzzwole GX to Zygarde. I think Zygarde is just good against like all Zoroark decks that are not Galisabot Zoroark. You just go in with Zygarde early, and this is like your ideal setup. You just go Zygarde, and you're backing yourself up with a Lycanroc. And if you go first, you can attack on your first turn, so you just manually attach to your active Zygarde, Max Elixir to a bench Rockruff, and then turn 2, you could go Bloodthirsty Eyes and Cellstorm, and Cellstorm is easily can knock out any sort of Zoroarks or can knock out things like Rockruff. Just does a lot of damage early on. My opponent ends that turn just with a horrible just 1 energy in play. That's like the exact opposite of what they want. I do have Diancie. I also have Remoraid and Octillery. I feel like here I am just going to go for consistency, and we should be able to win this game pretty handily. So I'm not super worried about that. We'll get our Remoraid. I miss my Max Elixir. That's tough. I think here I actually prefer to go in with the early Lycanroc. I don't really care about poking this thing, and then we're just going to Sycamore. I just don't really mind here. Yeah, we didn't even hit an energy, so I'm glad I put the energy on the Rockruff. And as you can see, we just have a very explosive turn 2 coming in. I'm going to be able to get, even if my opponent Field Blowers this Brooklet Hill, and I don't really care what they do so long as they don't knock out this Rockruff. I doubt that they're going to knock out the Rockruff with a 3-card hand and 1 energy in play. It's just not really happening. And I have this huge beefy Zygarde in the active, so my opponent's probably not taking any cheap prizes this turn. I have Floatstone in hand, firm believer in 3 Floatstone in a Buzzwole deck. This deck just wants to be as aggressive as possible. They have absolutely nothing, so we're going in here. We have the Octillery, we can Brooklet, and we know we have Diancie. So we're doing, we're a little bit short right now, actually, which is kind of frustrating. So let's just, you know what? I'm actually okay just poking with the Buzzwole. Let's just get the Buzzwole out, and then I'm gonna soften some things up here. And then we can just Cynthia. I'm fine with that. I don't need to get a Lycanroc yet. We're just going to, I could Ultra Ball. Let's Ultra Ball away the Brooklet Hill and the other Ultra Ball. We'll get ourselves a Diancie just to kind of sweeten the math here a little bit. So if I brought up the Ray, I would have done 170 because I have 3 bench Pokemon. I didn't, Wheel Abyssal. I just decided to go with the Jet Punch because my opponent's playing so slow that it just doesn't really matter. I can afford to take my time this game, which is perfect. And then we'll just Cynthia. And you can see this list is drawing very well. I think 10 supporters is just so good. And this is going to put a lot of pressure on my opponent if I hit this Max Elixir here, which we do. So we are now looking at, we're just going to Jet Punch, and then we just have it as far as, just knuckle impacting from here on out. We can Lycanroc, knuckle impact. At this point, the game is pretty much over. There's no way they're whipping up enough energy in play with 3 Rayquazas out already to knock out this Buzzwole. If they do it, they can't do it. They would have to hit 2 Max Elixirs. Even if they hit 2 Max Elixirs, they could get 1, 2, 3, 4 energy in play, 5, 6. I guess if they hit all their Max Elixirs and get a 4th Ray, they could get it, I guess, but that is just, they would have to max out the rest of their deck. But 1, 2, 3, they could get 3, 4 energy in play. Yeah, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's enough. They could do it, but that's just not happening. You guys can see again the 3 Floatstone coming in super clutch here. Just always having that retreat option is very good and just helps contribute to the aggressiveness of this list and of this deck. We are just, not wanting to really take any prisoners here. My opponent is going to accelerate a couple lightnings here, so they're going to get lightnings on all of their guys. That's fine. I'm completely set up and ready to go, and I'm just going to eliminate the biggest ray here. So this one that has the 2 lightning on it is just about to get blown up. And I think that I just do it with Lycanroc while the Lycanroc's here. The Lycanroc has 200 hit points, and then I can kind of just like jam it in, you know, with Lycanroc again. So let's just do that. I'm going to Ultra Ball away probably the N and the Rescue Stretcher. I'm not ending my opponent in any sort of reality anytime soon. So we're going to get rid of those, get myself a Lycanroc. I have 2 Lycanrocs in deck, and I have my other dude as well. So we're going to attach that there. Bloodthirsty Eyes up my opponent's Rayquaza. And this is probably about the time they scoop, but maybe not. You know, 0 card hand, knocking out their only Ray with energy. You know, maybe they're into it. Maybe they're not trying to scoop yet. We'll see. We got another Max Elixir, 10 fighting energy, very good. Onto the Buzzwole. So we've got fully loaded Lycanroc, Buzzwole in the bank. Pretty much nothing they could do here. If they do send up anything that's not a GX, I mean, I've got Guzma in hand, multiple Guzmas in hand, and I've got another strong energy. So, I mean, I could just take out a clean Rayquaza next turn, no problem, with just like back-to-back plays. This Claw Slash is going to be doing a ton of damage. 130, 150, 170. I mean, I'm doing just an absurd amount of damage with Claw Slash. That's what, 140, 160, 180, 200. I'm doing 200 damage with Claw Slash this turn, and you can bet that clean Rayquaza is about to bite the dust. That just, this deck just escalates so quickly. And, you know, that's just how Buzzrock is supposed to do. This is just supposed to be the most consistent deck in format and just the most aggressive deck in format. And I was really, you know, I was not liking the lists that were not playing as many, you know, GXs. I feel like the GXs are just the most punishing parts of a Buzzrock list. I mean, honestly, being able to just Max Elixir to a Buzzwole, things like that, just very strong plays against a lot of decks in the format right now. I think like Baby Buzzwole, though still very good, is just not quite as good as good old Lycanroc and Buzzwole. I feel like that strategy, that kind of 1-2 punch, is enough to just completely obliterate any deck, you know, that kind of stumbles right now. So that is the strength and the power of Buzzrock. I mean, you saw it yourselves. I mean, there's just no prisoners. That's just brutal. I mean, what a match. I mean, that's nuts. So like, obviously kind of both things here with the, you know, with the Rayquaza. My opponent didn't get a great start. They kind of dead drew a little bit, but I mean, turn 3, we were able to bring up whatever card we wanted on my opponent's side of the field, and I could have gone more aggressively. I mean, I actually could have gotten the turn 2 knockout if I had just gone for it, but I didn't need to go for it. I could have gone, and you saw the hand that I Cynthia'd into there had a strong energy and a choice band, which would have meant that if I had committed to the Lycanroc strategy instead of putting an energy on the Buzzwole, then I could have gotten a turn 2 knockout on whatever I wanted with that Lycanroc GX. So such a powerful deck. Buzzrock there. This is definitely a list that I'm considering playing for the World Championships. I mean, I like it a lot. And I mean, by this time I am already like traveled there and am out there. So this is something that I might be into, but this is what my list looks like right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, you know, and we'll see how this goes. Wish me luck. If you guys see me at the World Championships, feel free to stop and say hello. Make sure to like the video, sub to the channel, ring that bell, check out the Etsy store and the Patreon stuff in the description below. Peace.